George Walker Bush, often referred to as W, was the 43rd President of the United States. He served from 2001 to 2009 and is the son of the 41st President, George H.W. Bush. In this video, we're going to look at some of the major events in his life and the key facts about him that have shaped him into the person he is today. If you're ready, let's dive right in. George W. Bush was born on July 6, 1946, in New Haven, Connecticut. His father, George H.W. Bush, was serving in the U.S. Senate at the time, and his mother, Barbara Pierce Bush, was a homemaker. He has two siblings, a twin sister named Robin, who sadly passed away from leukemia at age 3, and a brother named Marvin. When George was 6 years old, his father's political career took the family to West Texas, where they lived on a ranch near Midland. Here, young George developed a love for the outdoors and for animals. He attended public schools in Texas and was an average student, but it was in sports where he really excelled, particularly in baseball and football. After graduating from high school in 1964, Bush enrolled in Yale University, where he studied history. At Yale, he was a member of the Skull and Bones Society, an exclusive senior secret society. After graduating from Yale in 1968, Bush did not immediately go into politics like his father. Instead, he returned to Texas and became an oilman, co-founding a company called Bush Exploration. However, his foray into the oil business was not very successful, and in 1977, he sold his stake in the company and bought a baseball team called the Texas Rangers. While owning the Rangers, Bush got involved in politics, serving as chairman of the Republican Party in Texas from 1976 to 1978. He also ran unsuccessfully for governor of Texas in 1978. But it was in 1980, when his father was running for president, that George W. Bush really became active in national politics. He served on his father's presidential campaign, and after the elder Bush took office, he was appointed to the U.S. delegation to the United Nations. In 1984, George H.W. Bush sought re-election but lost to incumbent President Ronald Reagan. After leaving office, the younger Bush returned to Texas and became involved in various business ventures, including a partnership with a man named James Bath. This is where things get a bit controversial, because in 1990, the younger Bush was fined by the Texas State Securities Board for failing to disclose his relationship with Bath, who was a convicted felon. This was not a huge sum, though, and it was the only time in his life that Bush was fined for any kind of financial impropriety. In 1994, Bush ran for governor of Texas and won, defeating his Democratic opponent by a narrow margin. As governor, he focused on education reform, signing into law a measure that increased education spending and created the Texas Business and Education Partnership Program. He also signed a death warrant for a man named Henry Briceño, who had been convicted of killing a police officer. This was controversial because there were doubts about Briceño's guilt, but Bush maintained that he had made the right decision. In 1998, Bush was up for re-election as governor, but he decided not to seek a second term. Instead, he ran for the U.S. Senate, but lost to the incumbent Democrat, Kay Bailey Hutchison. After losing the election, Bush took some time off to travel and to spend time with his family. He spent a lot of time at his ranch in Crawford, Texas, where he liked to go fishing and to ride his bike around the property. During this time, he also began to think about running for president, and so in 2000, he announced his candidacy for the Republican nomination. On September 24, 2001, just weeks after the 9/11 attacks, George W. Bush was traveling in Texas when he learned that the Republican convention had officially made him the party's nominee. The rest, as they say, is history. Let me know in the comments if you want me to do a video on his presidency. Thank you for watching.